We'll continue exploring all the possible ways that our spine is able to move. Let's start on the Porges ball. You're up on your forearms. And just do a little bit of a rolling side to side. Softening the belly. Noticing how things are. This is a great sort of way to improve your digestion as well. Getting rid of the tension in the belly and getting all those elimination sort of processes going better. And you might notice that some parts of the belly feel tighter than others. Just be gentle. Don't force anything. Make sure you just breathe. Maybe go in a little circle by sort of pushing and pulling through the forearms. So you're massaging your belly in a circle. Maybe go above your belly button now. Continue going in a circle. And then finally sort of settle right over the belly button if you can bear it. You can place your head on top of your stacked up fists or go all the way down. Take a few breaths here. Try to expand the belly right into the wall. And then as you exhale, allow the belly to soften and for the ball to go right deeper, right up into the abdominal wall. And then come up onto your forearms and go in a circle again. Beautiful. Now let's take the ball out and just rest on your belly for a second with your forehead down and take a few breaths without the ball and see if you can expand the belly into the floor and feel the expansion all around your waistline, side to side, back to front, and top to bottom. Nice. And let's come up onto the forearms. We'll warm up our shoulders a little bit before we do spinal extension. So we've done this before, but we'll go even more gently here because this is the first thing we're doing today. So the ball will go under the front of your shoulder. I'll turn this way. So like this. So the front top of your shoulder is supported by the wall. Yeah, and you can rest your, maybe watch me do this first if you're not sure where we're going. You can rest your forehead on your fist in the front. And we'll just sort of start moving the arm out to the side and to the front. Allow your shoulder to rest on the ball, so you gently leaning onto the ball while moving the arm. Go forward, out to the side, back behind you. Breathing here. Go nice and slow. See how the shoulder is doing. And start adding rotations into the arm. So you're not only taking the arm out to the side, you're also rotating at the shoulder. Maybe pretend you're holding a bowl of soup in your palm. And you're reaching that soup forward, that plate of soup forward. And then you take it out to the side, and then you just like to pour it into the floor, rotate, and then you bring it all the way up so the bowl is again facing up towards the ceiling on your palm, and you bring the arm behind you towards your lower back, and then out to the side again. Go a few times like this. If it's going well, you can take the bowl out, put it to the side, and then try it without the bowl. If this is challenging, just stay on top of the ball. Without the ball, you'll have to, create more intention in the shoulder to lift it off the floor so it still stays at that same height that it was when you were leaning onto the ball. As you bring your arm behind you, fold the elbow and see if you can hover the back of your hand over your lower back. Now to the side again, to the front. Beautiful, and rest. Take a moment here. And then we'll switch over to the other side. So move the gorgeous bowl to underneath the other shoulder. Rest your forehead on your fist. And then leaning the shoulder into the bowl, just start moving your arm forward, out to the side, back towards your hip. And then start adding rotation. So you're holding a bowl of soup in your hand, you're reaching forward. Try to relax your neck and your jaw. Then you reach it out to the side, you rotate. You pour the soup towards the floor, and then you rotate all the way out so the palm is facing towards the ceiling. And then you fold your arm behind your back, trying to cover the back of your hand over your lower back. Try to straighten your elbow, so all the way to the side before you turn the arm in, the palm up, and then you're folding your elbow and reaching it towards the lower back. So keep doing that if this is quite challenging, or take the ball out and try it without the ball. So now you're lifting the shoulder on your own. Notice if the side feels different from your other side. Nice and slow. Breathing into your belly. Let's do it for 5 more seconds. At your own pace, rotating and moving and breathing. Beautiful. And relax. Take a moment here. Breathing into the belly. Come up onto your forearms with your elbows right underneath your shoulders. And we'll shrug the shoulders up to the ears, and then you push wide the space between the shoulder blades. Grow a nice long neck. And then inhale, release the chest down, allow the shoulders to come together. Exhale, push through your forearms, widen that space between the shoulder blades. Elbows are right underneath the shoulders. Inhale, release. Exhale, push. So flip your hands into the floor. The palms are into the floor. And let's try a circle. So you're shrugging the shoulders up to your ears, and you're pulling them down your ribcage, and you push, and you puff up the space between the shoulder blades. Then you bring them towards your ears and forward, and back, down your ribcage, push, and widen. One more time. Beautiful. Now flip your hands over so the palms are facing up. try to have your forearms parallel to each other. So we're not connecting the palms together, they're parallel to each other. And then try those circles again with the forearms. This is called supination, supinated, like the bowl of soup is now on your palm. Nice and slow. If you feel there's some tension in your lower back, try engaging your glutes. So press your pelvis into the floor and tighten the back side of your legs all the way to your buttocks. Couple more circles. Beautiful. Okay, and slowly go down. Now find your long piece, the resistance band, and we'll place it under our, just below the belly button, so your hip bones are pressing the band, sort of anchoring the band down, right? Try now, place in your pelvis that's really heavy on the floor and anchor the band down with that part of your pelvis. So the ant will be on either side of your body. Right? So hold onto the band, lengthen your arms alongside the body. Keep your legs together. Release your head down. Inhale into the belly. As you exhale, drive the pelvis into the floor, tighten your legs, gently pull on the ends of your band, and see if you can lift your torso off the floor. And then slowly, slowly bring yourself down. Inhale into the belly. Exhale, drive the pelvis into the floor, tighten your legs, lift your torso up, pulling on the ends of your band. And slowly down. Beautiful. One more time. Inhale into the belly. Exhale, drive the pelvis down into the floor, tighten your legs, pull on the band, and lift your torso up. Lift, lift, lift. And slowly down. Take a moment here, breathe into the belly. Now, if you were holding your band with your sort of fist rotated towards the floor, switch the grip. So the palm will be facing up towards the ceiling, right? And the shoulders will be in internal rotation now. Like this, so palms facing up, right? Hold into the bend. So we'll try those same lift offs, but now the shoulder, the arms will be in internal rotation. Or if you've done the internal the first time around, so that you direct you, do the opposite. Okay. Inhale into the belly. Exhale, drive the pelvis into the floor, pull on the bend, and lift. And slowly bring yourself down. Inhale into the belly. Exhale, drive the pelvis into the floor, pull on the bend, lift. And slowly down. One more time. Inhale into the belly. Exhale, drive the pelvis into the floor, pull on the bend, lift. And slowly down. Beautiful. Come up onto your forearms, take the bend away. Let's take the quarters ball and stick it under the belly button again. And we'll just go side to side. Releasing the lower back, softening the belly. If you can, release the forehead down onto the floor, settle over the ball, and let's take 3 inhales right into the ball. And as you exhale, you really extend into the ball so that your body comes on top of the ball. The abdominal wall is nice and taut. And then as you exhale, you soften and you allow the ball to sink into your belly. 2 more just like that. Inhale. Expand, come up right on top of the ball, through the belly. Exhale, soften. One last time. Inhale. Exhale, soften. Beautiful. Off to the side. And then we'll roll over onto our back. The ball will now go, the tortoise ball will go underneath the shoulder blades. And we'll explore extension of your spine while on our back. Make sure the height underneath your head is just right for you, so your neck feels supported and long. Allow the arms to rest by your sides, find a comfortable shape for your shoulders. Take a few moments here, breathing into the space between the shoulder blades. Maybe experimenting with whether you can extend your ribcage into the wall, so through the back ribs, rather than through the front. And this is a nice soft, supported extension shape for your spine. Now we'll interlock the fingers underneath the base of the skull, elbows out to the side. Inhale into the space between the shoulder blades and expand your ribcage into the wall. As you exhale, exhale slowly, and at the very bottom of the exhale, allow the elbows to come together and wait for your upper back to curl in on itself, to gently flexing the spine. And your exhale is the force that actually brings you into this flexion. And slowly allow the spine to uncurl, pressing the back of your head into your hands and resisting the hands back. Elbows out to the side, take an inhale here. Exhale, nice and slow. Bring the elbows together. And allow the upper body to curl forward. Tuck the chin in. Press the back of your head into your hands. Resist gently. Back. And slowly uncurl. One more time. Inhale, extend into the wall. Slowly exhale. Try making a hissing sound through the back of your throat. Elbows together. Do yourself into the little curve shape. Tuck the chin in. And slowly, slowly uncurl. Beautiful. Allow your arms to rest by your sides. Take a moment here. Maybe move your arms like seaweed all around you. Rotating, finding some spirals. See what feels right. Up into the head, up to the side. Maybe flexing and extending your wrists. Nice. And now roll over into one side and press yourself up. Beautiful. So before we go onto our hands and knees, I'll show you a few things we can do for our forearm. So find your surface, like either a stool or on the floor on the block, and your therapy balls. And we'll place the forearm right into, the balls will be in their toes. Flip your hand over so the palm is facing up And then start rolling the forearm. So I like doing this on a kitchen countertop because I can stand and sort of lean onto it and really play with the amount of pressure that I'm putting onto the forearm. Okay, so find a spot. You can, if this is enough pressure, so keep doing it. If you want to add more, you can actually press the other hand on top of this forearm and increase the tension this way. Find a spot that feels tight or tender. Yeah, you probably all found it. Gather your fingers into a fist and then flex the fist and then extend. Flex and extend. So it's good to have your arm sort of hanging off the edge here, so when you extend, you can really find that deeper angle here. Flex and extend. And then move over to a different spot that also feels like it needs more, some attention, and flex and extend there. Try not to bend the elbow, right? So just the wrist. And notice how the muscles sort of engage in the forearm. Yeah, and then let go. And then open the palm and try with the palm open. Flex the wrist. Try not to sort of curl it into the round shape. Now keep spreading the fingers and flexing just at the wrist, like the center of your palm is reaching towards your chest. And then roll it out again. And you can sort of rotate the forearm, go into the side like you're seesawing the balls. And then rotate the arm even more so the underside of the forearm is on the balls. And you might find some sort of trigger, what feels like trigger points here as well. So if you found a point where, you know, it feels different, again, you can apply a bit more pressure and then try flexing and extending your wrist here, palm open. Try not to change the angle in your elbow. As soon as you start changing the angle in the elbow, you're taking the work out of the wrist. Yeah. So even if it's a tiny little movement, try to stabilize the elbow. And as you're flexing the wrist, Gordon, see how your palm wants to like create like a cup shape? So try to keep the palm as open as possible. Spread the fingers down. Yeah. And then roll out again. Oh, notice if there was some tension in the jaw. There. Great. Yeah, and let's switch over to the other side. Okay, so let's start with the, the forearm supinated, the palm facing up. And, you know, if you're sitting like me or standing, you can apply more pressure, either leaning or putting the other arm on top of this forearm. And then find a spot where it feels like it's a bit tighter gripping. Make fist. Stabilize your elbow and flex and extend. Like adding a block sometimes under, so your sort of wrist has space to extend here. This works good as well. And try going side to side. So apply pressure and then go side to side here. And then go in a circle like we sometimes do, holding, gripping a ball in the hand. And see how the forearm wants to rotate. Try not to rotate the forearm. Just rotate at the wrist. Gordon, and see how your shoulder really wants to kind of lean to one side. Try to keep your torso upright. So the shoulder is in neutral and you're working on the forearm. Otherwise, you take your shoulder into like a internal rotation, right? It's because the forearm is quite tight. That's why the shoulder wants to go into the internal rotation. So try it here. Stabilize the elbow in and out, and then the circle. The shoulder is still, yeah. And now open the palm and do the same thing with the palm open. Try not to create like a boat shape through the palm. Try to keep the palm flat. Spread the fingers. I know the shoulder wants to take over. The shoulder is like, let me help. Spread the fingers. Spread the fingers. Yeah. Flex, extend. I know. Oh yeah. And then roll out. I'm breaking a sweat here. Yeah. And then go to the side. So you're seesawing through the side like this. And then flip it over so we're pronated through the forearm and you're massaging the underside of the forearm. If you found a spot there, you can stabilize your elbow here, press down a little bit onto the forearm, make a fist, and then flex and extend here. For me, it's always the other side of the forearm that's more tight. But maybe for you, it's the underside that's tighter. And then try with the palm open, flex and extend. Yeah, beautiful. Shake it out. It's quite challenging, right? Is it just challenging for me, for you too? Okay, nice. So bring the backs of your hands together. Try to connect the flesh of your thumbs here. So you might have to connect your thumbs all the way. Yeah. So bring them higher to your face so you can really find that contact. Press them together. Keep pressing them together and try to bring the wrists down, but keep pressing them together. Yeah. And it's okay if it's still like here. Relax the shoulders. Keep pressing them together. Releasing the wrists further down. Relax the jaw. Maybe gently move side to side, your head side to side, ear to one shoulder. Nice. And then slowly let go. Make fists. And then shake out. Yeah, beautiful. Let's go into our hands and knees. Take a moment here to move. And just notice how the hands feel, how the wrists feel, and how your spine feels. Maybe you're going to go in a circle with your hips. Maybe you want to round, arch with your spine. Pressing the floor away with your hands. Noticing if the spine is able to articulate vertebra by vertebra, or if it wants to sort of go in chunks. If you want to move your shoulder blades, move your rib cage. Let's find neutral, so the hands underneath the shoulders, knees underneath the hips. And then from there, walk your hands over to the left. Start curling your tail under, tipping the pelvis back, rounding into your lower back, into your lower back, your upper back. So flexion on the side here, level flexion. And then slowly tail up, release the belly down towards the floor. Gently arching through the middle back, the upper back, and then looking up, keep your neck nice and long. And then curling the tail under, tipping the pelvis back, nice and slow, like you're spelling a long, difficult word. So letter by letter by letter. And then arching again, nice and slow. Beautiful. Come back to neutral. Walk over to the right. So flex, lateral flexion on the other side. Push the floor away. Use your hands, right? Your wrists, your fingertips. Pushing and rounding. And then reversing the curve. Nice and slow. Pushing the floor away. Pretend you're imprinting your hands on the floor. Beautiful. Connect your movement with your breath. Come back to center. Beautiful. Sit back for a second and we'll find the loop. And we'll bring it over our forearms like this. Palms facing you. Yeah, but if you have to tie your thing, it has to be shoulder width, right? About shoulder width long. And we'll go down onto our hands and knees and we'll keep the forearms on the floor. I'll come off my mat so you can see this better. So we'll do the stretch for the shoulders that we usually do, but now will be quite more challenging because we are restricting the movement in the forearm, right? We're holding them at shoulder width apart. Put your hands up. Make sure that your elbows are underneath your shoulders and your knees are under your hips. So think of sending your ribcage up towards the sky, gently resisting to your root. Relax your head down. Take a moment here, this is already quite challenging. Then move your elbows 2 inches forward. They're slightly in front of your shoulders. Keep resisting to the loop. Palms up. Glue the backs of your hands into the floor. Relax your head down. Tuck your toes under. Pushing through the forearms. Send your ribcage up towards the ceiling. And then send your hips back towards your heels. But keep sending the ribcage up towards the sky. It's a tiny little move, but it's a very intense and deep stretch for the shoulders. And then slowly bring yourself back. Push yourself up onto your hands. Go down onto your forearms. We'll do it a few times. Push yourself up onto your hands. Really find the power through the palms, through the fingertips, through the shoulders, and go down. 2 more times. Push up and go down. Last time. Push up. Go down. Beautiful. And push up. Now reach your right arm across midline towards the corner of your mat. Tuck your toes under it. Come up onto the fingertips. Glue the fingertips to the floor. Send your ribcage up towards the sky. Soften your left elbow and send your hips back. So a gentle lateral flexion for the spine and a stretch for your shoulder here. You can gently tuck the chin in. Keep sending the ribcage up towards the sky. And slowly come back to center. And we'll switch. Right hand is pressing to the floor. Left arm reaches across midline. Come up onto the fingertips. Check if you've rounded into your lower back. So think of that cannon shooting a cannonball behind you, not into the floor, right? But we're sending the rib cage up. So gentle flexion to the upper back. As you soften your right elbow and you send your hips back towards your heels while still pressing up to the bottom back ribs. Tuck your chin in gently. Beautiful. And slowly lift up. Bring your toes together, knees slightly apart. Snap your fists in front of your face and rest your forehead on your fists. Breathe into your belly. And you can use a blanket or double up your mat or under your right knee. So the long piece will go across our upper mid back, just below your shoulder blades. Before you straighten your arms, just see if you can find some movement between the pelvis and the hips here. Tipping the pelvis back, and then allowing it to come forward. Then you keep your torso still while moving the pelvis. So tip the pelvis all the way back as much as possible. Notice how the lower back has flattened. That's what we want for this shape. Now we're going to pull on your resistance band, straighten your arms, and then press out into the spot in your spine where you feel the bend is hugging you. Press out. Move your front foot 2 inches forward. Keep tucking your pelvis back, so tipping it back. Feel the stretch through the front of your right thigh. Nice. Now keep pulling on the strap as you start opening your right arm out to the side, rotating the torso, and then continue the movement through your neck to look behind your back shoulder. And then slowly bring yourself back to center. Make sure you're engaging your legs. You're tipping the pelvis back, and you're pressing out through the band over your lower, upper mid back. And we'll open the arm out to the side again. Look towards the back shoulder. Check with your head. Does it feel like it's still right on top of your shoulder? And come back to center. And then slowly release the band. Take a step back. Widen your knees. And let's rest on our fists here. Take a moment here. And bring yourself up. And let's switch sides. So step forward with your right foot. The band is just underneath your shoulder blades there. And we're looking for that movement on the lower back, tipping the pelvis back and forth. Check how this side feels. Does it feel different or the same? Consider different. Keep in mind that. Tipping the pelvis back, so the lower back has flattened. Now we're going to pull on the resistance band, straightening the arms. Press into the bend, right through the spot on your spine where you feel the bend is hugging you. Beautiful. Move your front foot 2 inches forward. Keep tilting your pelvis back. Nice. I'm going to open the left arm out to the side, rotating through the torso gently. Keep your right arm pointing forward, and you're rotating all the way up into the neck to look behind your back shoulder. Pressing into the band across your upper mid back. Slowly come back to center. Take an inhale here. As you exhale, rotate. Keep tipping the pelvis back, tipping it back. Squeezing the left buttock. Look towards your left shoulder. And then slowly bring yourself back to center. Release the bend. Take a step back. Widen your knees. Toes together. And just rest on your fists. Breathing into your belly. Take a moment here. Beautiful. Let's come back up. We'll take a step forward with our left foot and we'll pin the band down underneath the foot. We'll pull on the band with our arms straight in front of us like this. Tip your pelvis back again. Make sure the lower back feels flat here. And you feel some stretching, some lengthening through the front of your right thigh. Pull on the bend, see how much resistance you can tolerate with your wrists in line with your shoulders. Your jaw relaxed and you're breathing. Pretend you're doing this on ice, so you're sort of trying to scissor your legs, pulling the front heel back and the back knee forward. Pulling on the bend. Let's try rotation here, going a tiny bit to the left. Come back to center, tiny bit to the right. Come back to center. Inhale. Pretend the band is still across your upper mid back, so you lengthening through the upper mid back. Over to the left on the exhale. Center. Inhale. And then exhale over to the right. Center. And slowly let go. I know. Step back. Let's rest. Take a moment here. And coming up, switching sides. Left knee on your cushion, right foot steps forward. Pinning the band down under the foot. Find your posterior tilt there, right? So we're tipping the pelvis back. We're lengthening the lower back here. We're finding that lengthening through the front of the left thigh. The front foot is slightly ahead of your knee, so you can actually scissor it back. Pull on the band, and again this side, don't be surprised if this feels really different. Straighten your arms and decide if you want more tension or less. Here on this side, straightening the elbows, pull on the band, inhale, into the spot in your upper mid back where you felt the band before. As you exhale, rotating over to the right, tiny bit. Come back to center, inhale. Exhale, rotating over to the left. Come back to center, inhale. Lengthen through your upper mid back. Keep your lid closed. Exhale over to the right. Center. Inhale. Over to the left. Back to center. Slowly release the band down. Knees wide. Let's rest. And gently sway the hips side to side, releasing the lower back, softening the belly. Beautiful. And push yourself up. We'll be on our hands and knees for a bit longer. So with your hands right underneath the shoulders, spread your fingers nice and wide. And see if you can rotate the eye of the elbow towards you. Right? So the shoulder is in external rotation here. The fingers are pointing towards me, towards the screen, yeah, or like forward. Yeah. So pushing the floor away, see if you can lift your left palm off the floor. Nothing changes in the upper back. And then press it down into the floor and lift your right palm off the floor. Beautiful. And then put your right palm down, lift your left. Beautiful. And put it down. Nice. Now, see if you can reach your left leg out to the side. So your mirror reflection here. So pushing through both hands. Slowly start making your left palm slightly lighter than your right. And then eventually you can pick it up. Keep pushing to your right side. So the shoulder blade feels nice and strong and it's far away from the spine, right? It's not hugging the spine. You're pushing and you're keeping the shoulder blade away from the spine. Now this left arm will thread under, not towards your thigh, but sort of closer to the arm. Keep pushing to the right side and then see if you can gently rotate through the spine, reaching the left arm under. But keep pushing to the right side a lot. Push, push, push. Beautiful. And bring the arm back. And now see if you can open the left arm up towards the sky, rotating the other way. Look at your fingertips. Beautiful. And then slowly come back. Okay. Very nice. So stay here. I'll just turn sideways so you can see me. Check in with your lower back. Is there a curve in the lower back? If you're not sure, maybe tip your pelvis back and forth. Find that valley, right, in the lower back. Keep that curve going and then hinge over your hips. Try not to move the lower back. Send your hips back without moving your lower back. Back and forth, just hinging at the hips. The toes are pointing forward here, right? And your back toes are tucked under. Stretching the inner thigh while keeping neutral curve through the lower back. Beautiful. Come back to center. Take the leg in. Let's go down onto the forearms to give our wrists a bit of a break. And then see if we can move in circles here. The shoulder blades are gliding and sliding over your ribcage. Breathing softly. Hugging your spine with your shoulder blades and pulling them up to your ears and then pushing and widening the shoulder blades away from the spine. A couple more times. Beautiful. Press yourself up onto your hands and we'll do it on the other side. Rotate the eye of the elbow forward. Keep pushing through your hands like you're imprinting your hands on the floor. Push so much through your left side that your right becomes lighter. And then you lift it off and nothing changes in your upper body. And then you put it down. Push both hands into the floor. The spine is long. Push so much through the left side that the right becomes lighter and you can pick it up without rotating through the torso here. And bring it down. Beautiful. So now we're going to reach the right leg out to the side. Point your toes forward. Pressing through both hands first. Widen the space between the shoulder blades. Nice and wide. Now pressing through the left. Your right becomes lighter. You pick it up. You thread it under your left side. And while still pushing through the left, you're threading the right arm under and to the side. push a lot to your left hand and arm and feel that shoulder blade staying wide and away from the spine. And then bring the arm back and then open the arm up with the spine, rotating the other way. Keep pushing to the left hand, to the left arm. Beautiful. And bring it back. Now press through the right hand, pick up your left, place it on your lower back, and check if there is a curve through the lower back. Yeah. So now place the hand down, and we'll hinge over on the side without losing the curve in the lower back. And you might be surprised how small the hinge becomes if you're really stabilizing your spine here. Right. You can stable while hinging and the hip. And that way you'll really access the inner thigh and the pelvic floor. Beautiful. Center. Pull the leg in. Let's go down onto the forearms. And we'll do those circles with the shoulder blades again. Nice and slow. Whichever works for you. So maybe up and down, or maybe you can do a circle. Try to keep the spine still. And just find the slide and glide of the shoulder blades on your rib cage. Press yourself up onto your hands. And let's try that stretch for the front of our hand here, after we did so much work on the hand and see if it feels different. So pressing to your right side, flip your left over and press the back of your hand into the floor. So maybe a tiny bend in the elbow and a tiny sort of less in the wrist, but try to distribute it evenly, the effort evenly between the elbow and the hand. Then try making a fist here, folding the fingers into a fist, and then opening. Make sure the pointer is folding into the fist as well. Beautiful, and then slowly flip over. Push, engage the left side, and then flip over the other side, pressing the back of the hand into the floor. Try to straighten the elbow and then gathering the fingers into your fist. Beautiful, nice. And slowly let's make our way down onto our back with the tortoise ball underneath our shoulder blades. We'll check in with our ribcage breath. And please breathe into the back ribs now. Is it a little bit more available? Up and middle back and the space between the shoulder blades. You can have your knees bent, or you can straighten your legs if this is better for you. Relax the arms by your sides. And really allow yourself to soften and tune into that breath. Through the ribcage, through the back of the ribcage. The space between the shoulder blades. And then slowly roll your fingers and your toes. Notice how this movement radiates up the arms and legs. Bring your hands together. Keep your ribcage heavy on the wall and then bring your arms up and over your head. But keep your ribs tucked into your belly. And see how far up and over your head you can bring your arms without letting your ribcage flare up. Arms back. Right in front of your face. And then inhale here. As you exhale, reaching the arms up and over, keeping the ribs tucked into the belly. And then slowly you pivot it onto the side and push yourself.